So Outriders seems to be quite the mess. Welcome back, friends, to another video here on the channel. Today, I want to talk about everything that's been going on with Outriders, the game. Also, which is kind of hand in hand why I haven't played it, to be quite honest. I'm going to talk about kind of all these different aspects of what's going on with the game. Now, I always don't like making these kind of videos just because, you know, I don't want to, I'm not the kind of guy that will just unnecessarily, quote unquote, bash on, you know, developers or whatever. But we kind of have a problem where, you know, as gamers, we're feeding into the problem. It's kind of a two-sided coin where developers are releasing games that are just buggy and broken. And they're still kind of in a beta phase. They're not even ready for launch, and they're releasing these. And then we as the consumers are buying these broken games, just saying like, well, it's all good. It's gonna get patched down the line anyways. And it's just a cycle of chaos that is just, you know, it's basically on our side, on the consumer side, we're basically saying that, you know, it's all good if you release a broken game at launch. And then, you know, the developers think, oh, it's all good. It's not a big deal, right? And I mean, it's not a good thing, right? I think back to Nintendo's decisions with postponing certain games. Look at Metroid Prime 4, for example. I mean, we haven't even heard of that game for a long time since it was first announced. They completely scrapped it and restarted the whole game because they weren't satisfied with it, which I'm all for that kind of thing. Or look at Breath of the Wild, right? That game got delayed after delayed after delayed because Nintendo just wasn't satisfied with it. They wanted to make sure they absolutely created the best game possible. What was the quote again? Mr. Iwata said it, or no, was it Miyamoto? I think it was Miyamoto. Yeah, never mind. It was Miyamoto that says something like, a delayed game is eventually good. I'm paraphrasing. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad, or something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's true, right? And that's kind of the way that developers should be looking at things. Because think about this: if you put a game broken out at launch, then you've already tarnished the image of that game right from the get-go, and that's not a good look. If you take your time and put it out, you know, whenever it's ready, then great. And I get it. You know, there's all kinds of pressures within the industry, but it's something that needs to change within, you know, the development cycles or development studios, and, you know, the publishers and things like that as well. Look at Cyberpunk. I mean, that was disastrous in and of itself as well. You know, that game should have been delayed longer. I know, I get it. It was delayed after delayed after delayed already. But honestly, it's whatever, man. It's less tarnishing to your game's reputation to continuously delay it, even if it's multiple times, than it is to release a bugged game, and then that's just kind of, well, the memory everybody has because it's a bugged game. So basically what's going on with Outriders is there's a few different things. There was some smaller stuff where crossplay wasn't working, and eventually they got a patch out, and the Xbox patch was delayed, and once that came out, you know, it was all good. You know, there was that, which, okay, whatever, you know, it's kind of a minor thing. And then there was stuff, excuse me, where like on PC, there was a bunch of like file dumps that were just very, very large. People were reporting that there was like, you know, maybe 20 to 30 gigs of file dumps, which is massive. That is way, way, way too much. So people's hard drives are being filled up. But one of the most devastating ones that just got posted about a couple days ago, I think it was over on Reddit, is that there's some Outriders players who have put a lot of time, like I mean a lot of time. This is Eurogamer that actually reported on this one. I'm talking about like almost 100 hours of time into it, only to have their inventory wiped by a bug. Now, okay, maybe they'll get all that back. I'm sure, hopefully they'll get it all back, you know, through an update, through a patch. But regardless, that's a pretty big bug. Like, someone has 94 hours that they lost. Literally, they said everything gone, 94 hours lost, almost complete build lost. This is a joke. Naked login, server can't connect, yada yada, like everyone else. Like, dude, that is insane. Other people, 80 hours, gone, wiped, inventory gone, completely wiped, reset. Like, that's nuts. That's not the way games should be launching. That is just not an acceptable state for a game to be launching. And, you know, on a flip side of things, you know, I was considering playing it myself, And I kept kind of debating it and whatnot, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But you know, I was seeing, you know, there was some bugs being reported. The servers, okay, you know, given that's understandable, especially at launch, you know, servers struggle and whatnot. But again, it's just, and again, I understand, you know, the state that the world's been in lately. It's harder for you know, developers to get things done. But even then, even before this whole global situation that I'm still avoiding trying to specifically mention, because I don't know if YouTube's still going around, you know, attacking videos that mention that. But even before this whole, you know, global situation, games were still being pushed out in this way. Developers were still doing this, and it's just, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a vicious circle from both sides of things, because the consumers, you know, we're buying into it. We're basically saying it's all good, man. It's all good if you're putting out a buggy, broken mess of a game. Like, it's all good. This is one thing. See, if you guys know me, you know that in general I love games, and I'm not really like, oh, this developer or this company is better than the other. But one thing, I do have a special love for Nintendo. That is definitely true. Nintendo holds a unique, special place in my heart. And it's one of the companies that I will probably forever love. I grew up on Nintendo, and I just will forever love. But I respect them because they just don't do what everyone else does. Nintendo is just doing what they want to do and what they think is good for the consumer. Yes, they are a business that is, you know, has to make money and whatnot. And, you know, they obviously want to have a successful business model, but Nintendo genuinely cares about the experience of the players. They genuinely care about just the overall, you know, joy of gaming, right? That's why Nintendo is innovative too, right? That's why they're daring to try new things. Sometimes, you know, it's some of those innovations work more or work better than others. But like I mentioned, with you know, Metroid Prime 4, with the delay of Breath of the Wild, you know, who knows how long Breath of the Wild 2 is going to take? I don't even care. I keep saying it, like, it's fine, man. Take all the time you need to make it a great game, you know? Like, it's just one of those things. And I think also from the consumer side, it's good to be excited for games, but, you know, we shouldn't add that extra pressure to developers to, you know, rush out a game. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us as consumers have been doing a better job at that, kind of, you know, easing up and kind of being like, hey, you know, it's all good. You know, whatever, you know, just take your time. But excuse me, I think more of us need to do that as a collective whole. And I think developers need to take that time, even if they feel like, man, we've already delayed it like 50 times. Again, if you put out a game that's bugged, it's going to look a lot worse for your game and even for you as a development studio and a publisher than it will if you take your time, if you take your time to, you know, iron it out. Even if it already meant that you've delayed it 3 times, you got delayed a 4th time, maybe a 5th time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It looks a lot better than delaying it even 10 different times than putting out a game that's bugged, and then that's just, you know, what's going to be burnt into everybody's memories. Well, you know, remember that game that was just kind of like, you know, cursed at launch? Like, that's everybody's memory, you know? You don't want that. You don't want that. And, you know, it's just something that I really hope changes and whatnot. On the flip side, like I said, to make it more personal, Outriders, I tried the demo. You know, to be honest, it felt like a game that, like, could have potential, but it kind of felt mediocre at the same time. And I was like, ah, man, I couldn't justify spending money on the game, especially paired with the fact that I heard about all the bugs at launch. I was like, nah. Then I realized, I forget who, someone told me that it was on Xbox Game Pass. So I was like, okay, I went to go download it, and then I still never did it. I never played it because I'm like, I don't know. I just don't feel driven to, you know? I don't feel driven to play, to put time into. I mean, time is short, man. Time's precious. I don't feel driven to put time into the game. I love Square. I love Square Enix very much. If you guys have been around for a long time, you know I'm a huge fan of the Kingdom Hearts series. You know, of more recently become a bigger fan, not a bigger, but sorry, also a big fan of the Final Fantasy series. Never played it a lot back in the day, but in the past couple of years, I've also become a big fan of the Final Fantasy series as well. I still got a lot of catching up to do. You know, I love a lot of the stuff that Square puts out. I really do. They're a great publisher. They're a great company, but this one ain't it. This one just ain't it. You know, maybe they'll be able to pull things back. I hope for their sake. You know, you don't want to see games or developers or publishers or whatever. You know, you don't want to see those things fail. But I mean, you know, when those things succeed, it's good for everyone, right? It's good for the developers, the publishers, good for the consumers, right? Because we get a great game. But I don't know. I just couldn't bring myself to play it. I just maybe one day, but as of right now, no. You know, I gotta say, again, this is not to take a cheap shot, but I kind of, you know, I heard I heard the phrase going around that it would be a Destiny killer, and to me that's kind of laughable, because people said the same thing about Anthem. Destiny's been dry, but man, Destiny is going to be really hard to beat. That's just a really great game for what it is, for that genre and that category of games. I don't know many games are going to be able to beat out Destiny, even in its state where it's, you know, dry. It's still better than a lot of these other games that have attempted to do such, you know, Outriders, Anthem, you know, etc. So I don't know, man. You know, it'd be nice to see more games like that, you know, kind of, you know, pull off some greatness. But I think another thing is just developers got to also, you know, maybe they're trying too hard. I don't know if that's it, by the way, but I'm saying in certain circumstances, I think maybe some developers try too hard to be successful. And you normally, you know, oftentimes you're not successful by trying to be successful. You're successful by just being creative, just having fun, and that's that. You know, whether you're a developer, content creator, musician, even, you know, like any field that you're in, you're most successful when you're most creative, because then you're just having fun with it, you know? Think about Neversoft back in the day with the old Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. Why were those games so successful? They just had fun with it, man. They were skating on mini ramps and on breaks at lunch break and in between, you know, working on the game. You know, it wasn't super corporate, you know what I mean? I get it. There's a business model, of course, but if developers can't have an environment to let their creative juices flow naturally and just, you know, freely, then, you know, games aren't going to feel as unique and as great. So I hope more developers kind of, and more publishers, the more corporate side sees that and makes that more of a priority to give more of that creativity, more room to breathe again, like we did back in the day. So I don't know. That's my rant. Let me know what you guys think. Have you played Outriders? Have you not played Outriders? Again, I'm not trying to, you know, pointlessly bash on the game at all. I want to see it succeed. I really do. I really wanted to get into it, but right now at this point, it's just not at that point for me as of yet. And again, I think on both sides, developers and consumers, we got to break this cycle, man. We got to stop buying into buggy games and making it seem like this is an acceptable practice of business, and developers and publishers have got to take it more serious and just delay it. Who cares? Delay it. It'll look better on you as a company, and it'll look better on your game in the long run if you just delay it. I know it's not ideal, but, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. So let me know what you guys think. I've missed making kind of like these rant videos and these kind of news style videos. Let me know if you guys want to see more of them here on the channel. If you are new to the channel, do variety gaming content, gameplays, let's plays, gaming news, you know, whatever. We just, you know, anything gaming pertaining to that world goes on the channel. So whatever that encompasses. So also have a Nintendo channel, just talking about the fact that I'm a huge Nintendo fan. If you want to check that out, links in the description below. You can check that out. I've been doing a little bit of Monster Hunter Rise over there, debating getting more into that. Never been super into Monster Hunter, but anyways, dabbling in that. You could check that out if you want to. But and lots of Zelda coming out this year, baby. 35th anniversary, so it's gonna be crazy over on the Nintendo channel. So don't miss out on that. But anyway, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Another one. Till then, game on.